good morning, everybody. Welcome to our marketing and branding panel. So, we have with us Mr. J.S. Kumar, Mr. Ketan, and Mr. Vivek. Welcome, sir. So, the topic today is
Thanks.
from traditional to digital, navigating the evolution of marketing strategies. So, my first question goes to Mr. Vivek.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Vivek, as a growth and media expert, how do you leverage digital channels to drive customer acquisition and engagement for your clients?
So digital channels, it depends upon the brand. They have a lot of channels are available in India and even for other markets also. Considering so, in case of we have to each segments we have to choose which are the channels we want to go forward. We can choose the based on the audience using those platforms. Example, if I want to take for FMCG brand, I want to take the FMCG brand. What are the channels they are using? So they're using Instagram, Facebook, Meta, Google. So based on the channels we want to choose it. So then only we can able to engage with the customers and we can able to get as in a customer also. And there are multiple platforms we can choose. And even though we should able to data driven targetings, which are the targetings, what they are our user, our consumer, what they are using it. We have to study that data, consumer behavior. Then only we can able to choose on the platforms.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So my next question goes to Mr. Ketan. So Mr. Ketan, with your
Yeah.
background in both traditional and digital marketing, how do you see the interplay between these two approaches in the modern marketing landscape?
Yeah, I think a very pertinent question. See, the boundaries between traditional and digital are getting blurred, right? 20 years back, you had what you called marketing. There was no traditional marketing, it was the offline marketing, what you call. What is happening currently? I'll give an example, right? See, I come from a very strong B2B marketing background, right? SaaS marketing. So we do events, for example. Events traditionally is a traditional form of offline kind of advertising, which is more, it is more concerned with footfalls. It's something which has been there for a long time. It's one of the top channels for B2B marketing and advertising, right? Whether it's trade conferences, road shows, all everything that we do. Now, how do we blend digital with it, right? We have live streams which are happening. You have live webinars which are concurrently happen with that event. You have digital modes of registration. You have a lot of digital modes of conversions, right? So a lot of the conversions happens on the digital platform, a lot of stuff, but people come to the conference. Traditionally, 20 years back, it was not like this. So this is just one of an example of how these two are converging. And with AI coming in and a lot of other technologies coming in, the boundaries are going to be even more blurred. So it is more integrated marketing these days, right? And it really depends on the kind of business you have, right? It's so for some businesses, still the traditional modes. So there is a primary and secondary mode of marketing. The traditional mode will remain. For example, if you're a manufacturing company, right? You're a high-end manufacturing company where you're supplying to other manufacturing companies and you have suppliers and vendors, right? So for that, obviously your traditional more will always be there because your supply chain is like that. Your partnership models are offline. But where you can have digital is obviously, having a great website, having a great LinkedIn presence. All these channels add to your brand value. So for that sort of a company, your brand is very digital, right? But your acquisition channel and a lot of your interactive channels, conversion channels could be offline. On the other hand, if you are a SaaS business, where your business is, if you are selling a low ticket subscription product, a SaaS product, for such kind of a business, right, your digital will become your primary channel. You may or may not have a traditional channel, right? So that's where the boundaries. These days we talk about connected TV as well. TV is a traditional form of advertising, but these days we talk about connected TV, where digital meets TV as a medium. So there's a lot of another area where the convergence is very, very pronounced is in advertising, right? These days, advertising is so targeted, whether you have hyper-local advertising. Advertising traditionally has always been one of the main channels for traditional marketing, right? Whether it is billboards, banners, everything that is there. But these days with hyperlocal and AI coming in and a lot of technologies converging, advertising has become so targeted, right? And so personalized, right? I think the boundaries are completely gone with traditional and digital. So it's really about integrated advertising. That's the word I would use. And anybody who wants to really create a marketing strategy has to blend in an integrated marketing strategy, keeping your business a business model in mind.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. G.S. Kumar, sir, so how can professionals and businessmen leverage LinkedIn as a powerful platform for personal branding and lead generation in today's digital age?
Okay, first of all, I'll talk about the your previous question, traditional marketing and current marketing. Where traditional marketing, the idea is spreading awareness. Like 30 years, 40 years before, if you see, we see all the brands and products through TV channels or newspapers, only that, right? And recent years, Google has coined a framework called 7-11-4, which means 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, and 4 different locations, which means whenever you are purchasing a product, you will consume online content about their particular brand, product, or service. You just don't go with a TV advertisement or a newspaper advertisement, which was happened earlier. Now that it is more towards consumption of content which is present in online. It could be your Google reviews, it could be your LinkedIn recommendations, it could be a podcast. Whenever we introduce a product, today's audience will obviously go online and search for your content which is present in online. So Google says at least 7 hours of consumption of content a typical client is using, before taking a purchasing decision. Second is 11 touch points. 11 touch points means that should have an interaction between your brand and your consumer. What all avenues you are giving for your brand to communicate. It could be a webinar, it could be a panel discussion like this. There are a lot of things. And 4 different locations, which means your online presence. So today's market is online is a new real estate. The more and more you have present in online, the more and more visibility you create and level of awareness you create. So that's where LinkedIn comes into the picture, where whenever you search for a particular person to connect with, or the right kind of a client, LinkedIn comes to the first page of Google, where the complete authenticity is being checked, because it's a 360-degree profile, I would say, where we will try to understand whom all we have connected with, what kind of recommendations he has got, all that aspect. So that's where LinkedIn plays a major role when it comes to marketing, especially when we are planning for a high ticket client base. Because when we are planning for high ticket clients, we have to connect with CEOs, VPs, directors, founders who are hanging around in LinkedIn. Okay, so you cannot find them on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, where a lot of B2C space, B2C marketing can happen. But when you are planning to scale up your business, it is definitely you have to connect with the serious business people who are already available in LinkedIn. Okay, so the only thing is you have to spend a lot of time in LinkedIn by optimizing your profile or consistent content so that you create awareness. So we call it as digital sales 2.0, where it starts from educating content. Okay, if you want to sell a product, start educating your client through LinkedIn and generate a lot of followers and connection and convert to a customer. That's how the new model works. Yes.
Yeah, to add on to what Kumar said, the two important trends that are there, irrespective of the business, right? Your personal brand, right? Your digital brand has to be online. I think digital is where you build your brand these days. And as you mentioned, LinkedIn, these are all technical channels. I think everybody knows LinkedIn, Instagram, right? Those are it's pretty much known that we need to be on those channels. But building your brand, right? And the value of building your brand is exponential, right? Invest in your brand now, the returns, it's like compound investing, right? You invest now, maybe you don't see returns, but once you do, it's one of the most scalable and the most high returns that you can get invest in the brand. And the second is also founder-led growth. So if you're an early stage startup, or you're an early business, or you're an established business, your founder, your CEO, the people, right? This is another trend that has come in the last couple of 2-3 years, is that it's not just, people are not just buying your product, right? They want to know who the people are. And the CEO or the head of the business, they're building their brand and letting their voice out. It adds more authenticity. And if you're an early stage startup, it's, your founder-led growth is the earliest, easiest and most cheapest way to scale. So it's not just about your product brand, it's also about the people behind it, the people who are running the show. They have to build their brand online. I think that's really where because people add that connect, right? The integrity is there. They are able to relate to the person talking about it. So that is another important trend where, again, the boundaries are getting.
I'm just adding one point to what Ketan said. Like, see, branding and PR is something a little bit costly for a budding entrepreneur and budding startup, where they cannot invest lakhs and crores of money towards it, like celebrities and politicians too. But LinkedIn is a space where it is freely available, where it is only the content education which you have to do. So the one of the major investment of time, investment of cost, when entrepreneurs want to make a scale up or branding has to be created, LinkedIn is the first thing which they have to do, so that it's very cheaper branding. And later when they are scaling up, they can invest on PR strategies and branding stuff like that. But to kickstart their journey, I think LinkedIn is something which they have to invest on it, both their time and cost, which is cheaper comparing to all the branding strategies. That's what.
So actually, I just agree with Kumar on the point. LinkedIn is a major platform for a B2B segment. For in terms of B2C segment, LinkedIn is not. It's a platform, but not heavily we can able to manage it. In that case, we have to come from one step. We have to backwards. We have to look into the influencer activities. So we have to talk about our brand needs to talk about from the influencer, either have to micro or nano influencers. So they have to spread the awareness about our product. We can't able to make a brand film. I can't able to invest 50-60 lakhs or 1 crore to make a one brand film to show about my product. So instead of that, I can able to spend less than that 1 or 2 lakhs. So the influencers, we have to get the digital rights to utilize that. We have to spread the awareness about the product and then the brand.
B2C, I can suggest one point on LinkedIn where see, today's market is more towards collaboration and co-creation. So that's where B2C can collaborate with other similar partners, other like-minded business, so that they create opportunities for them. Because all along you cannot do hunting for single client, all through these years. But where you can create a lot of collaborative opportunities with like-minded companies or like-minded industries, so that you can exchange your audience base or customer base, so that mutually you can benefit. Say, for example, we work with a lot of corporate trainers where their audience or customers are individual customers. They train, they do a life coaching, corporate training, stuff like that. So what we do is we ask them to collaborate with edtech training institutes, software training institutes, so that they have a mutual base of audience where they can serve. So that way we create opportunities for B2C for in LinkedIn, so that they scale up in the entire process. Otherwise, it is all dependable on other people. Okay, so when you're a youngster, you can run around with a lot of things, all that. But once you cross 40, 50, 60 and all that, you cannot run behind all this kind of aspects of field marketing, stuff like that. So that's where this collaboration opportunities we have to create, so that we have a lesser effort in terms of developing business and scaling up. That's how it works.
And just to kind of drive the point home in terms of just the fun. See, all these are very valid points. I think there's some good suggestions by the co-panelists. But the key here is really the story you tell on whichever brand. Doesn't matter if it's LinkedIn, so of course, depending on the business, or if you're a coach, if, obviously Instagram or LinkedIn could be good for you. If you're a B2B business, maybe you have, if you're a media, probably YouTube is good for you. So experiment with channels. I think you will not find which channel. Obviously, LinkedIn will be Instagram for B2C and certain businesses. But the best thing is to experiment. The key is experiment. experiment with different channels, which works for you. I think you stick yourself to one channel, because there will be one channel that will be your most source of revenue for you. That will be where you build your biggest brand. And you don't have to be on 10 channels, right? You have to have your presence for sure. You need to be feed all those channels, but it'll be one or two of those channels which will be your main revenue generator, and that's what you need to find. And the story that you tell, that's the key thing. The story that you tell. You have 10 life coaches or 10 SaaS companies, each of them selling the same business, each of them talking the same thing. How are you different from others? What is your differentiator? The story that you tell on that medium, that is what really defines, as much as it's also not just about the channel, but what is your message that you're talking about, and how different, like Kumar said, right? The content that goes in, but how different are you with the content? How can you package your content and really stand across in the clutter? I think that really is the number one differentiator, whichever channel you choose.
Also, adding on Ketan point, you have to experiment multiple channels. At the same time, you have to experiment with the multiple content also. So we have to, certain channels have to certain kind of communication or a creative have to take it up. Example, want to say Instagram Reels kind of thing. But if comes to the publication side or a display network or maybe a thing, we have to use the display creatives or animated creatives or interactive creatives. We have to choose and with multiple variants. At the same time, we have to multiple A/B text. We have to do it. So then we have to choose in one platforms, and then we should concentrate more on those platforms to generate the revenue. But experimentation we need to do for all the time.
Well, sir, the conversation took a very interesting turn here. It was nice opinions from every one of you. So, coming back to the topic, Mr. Vivek, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, can you provide insights into the role of data analytics and performance tracking in optimizing digital marketing strategies for a maximum ROI?
So we have to consider maximum ROI. We have to do the proper measurement tools to measure the performance, especially in the digital. So offline, in nowadays, I think we can able to certain things we can able to measure it offline also. Like in the print ad, most of the newspapers you can able to see the QR code. So whoever are interacting, you can just see the scan the QR code and then come to the website. And then a lot of things they have to how to we should measure offline tracking also, but it's not able to measure 100%. I'm just saying it. Some people have to scan it, not 100%. 100% people have to scanning the paper ads. So in terms of digital, you can able to track the ROI from the customer journey from the day 1 to day 15. So whatever the purchase cycles comes up, so they can able to measure it, and then which are the touch points they have come, what are the source or to come down to our website or to buy the product. So they can able to track it out. Nowadays, it's available in digital with a lot of tools. At the same time, the tools will help out to make the generating the ROI. So which platforms again we have to come to spend more, and which platform we have to spend lesser on the budgets. And then we have to not only consider the LOI, I mean ROI. We should consider the LTV. So what is the client lifetime value they have by purchasing it? So if your user have to buy 5 kg atta today, so you have acquisition cost some X number of amount, and then we have to consider it's loss making business. We have to consider that X amount. We have to consider how many times we buy it and what is the value the last 6 months or 3 months. So that is the revenue we have to build it for one acquisition.
Yeah.
I think we have to get via the data only. We have to consider the data to only for not only ROI, we have to consider lifetime value.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Mr. Ketan, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, can you provide insights into the challenges and opportunities faced by brands while transitioning from traditional to digital marketing strategies?
Okay. So, like I said, I would still use the term integrated marketing. So, see, digital marketing has been there for a long time now, right? These days in 2024, I think people know that you have to invest in digital. So, like I said, now let's take an example of a larger brand. So, larger brand, people, let's talk about say FMCG brands or fashion brands, and people who have the money to spend. See, the first key thing is money, right? You need to know that digital costs a little more money. I mean, traditional also does, but budget is the key here. Depending on the budget, right, you can really go all along, or you have to restrict yourself, or be innovative or creative enough around that. So budget is definitely there, because to buy media on Google or to buy media on YouTube and all that costs a lot of money, or Facebook or Meta costs a lot of money. And these days, that's the easiest way to acquire, right? Earlier, it was push advertising, where you put your message in the market, try to disrupt, and now it is pull advertising, where you are trying to get people to view your content. You're not interrupted. It's not disruptive advertisement unless it's digital advertising. So the first challenge, I would say, the biggest challenge is really about having a plan out there. What is the main reason? So would you want to invest all your money in digital, or you want to have traditional? So it really depends on what your plan is, where your audience are. So that is the key. If your audience is on traditional, especially if you go to rural areas, if your market is more rural, if your market is more very niche B2B, it still has a lot of traditional connect that matters. So you really need to understand where your audience are, where is the audience most likely to go. So that is where you kind of allocate your budget, and then you so it's integrated. You cannot just do traditional, or you just cannot do digital. It has to be both. So I think that is one. The second is data, right? Digital without data doesn't work, right? As Vivek said, right? It's data-driven marketing, data-driven advertising, what you want to call it, because the key in digital is being able to understand and measure and optimize based on performance of whatever digital channels you are doing, advertising, social media, or anything. So the data is very important. So the sources of acquiring data, these days we talk about first party data and third party data, right? First party is your own, third party is where you've acquired data from somebody. So the data authenticity, and be clear about the sources of data that you have, that is very important, because if you don't have the right data, right, digital marketing may not work for you much, because it may not. For example, the worst thing you can do is to take a list of email addresses and blast them across, or take a list of uh, uh, phone numbers, or send them broadcast on WhatsApp. I mean, lots of brands are doing it. Is that what you should be doing? Well, that's a point that's left in open, because that's the cheapest way to do it. But then in the long run, that's not going to do much for you, because that's going to kill your brand. On the other hand, if you spend on, like I said earlier, these social network channels, that's where you really need to differentiate. Third challenge is really one major thing is content, really, what messaging. People fail to understand, because the traditional is very easy. You buy media on a banner, or you buy a billboard. But in digital, it's all about building your content. Like has already been said, you need to build your brand around that. So that requires a lot of creativity. It requires a lot of understanding of channels, and a lot of effort and it takes time also, right? So those are some of the challenges. And but it really depends on what your company is, what your business is, and where your audience is. So I think that is one thing. And lastly, of course, it's a budget thing also, right? I mean, if you have good budget, obviously you can, advertising wise, you can probably spend. But if you have less budget, and you can do it on a very tight budget, I think that's where you need to spend in printing your brand on LinkedIn or other channels, and that requires a lot of hard work and a lot of creativity that sometimes brands struggle with, right? It's easy to buy a billboard ad, put an ad in a newspaper, but to build a brand on LinkedIn takes a lot of effort. So that's the other challenge which you have to, how to transition between that, and understanding that. So earlier, many people used to look at traditional as an extension, digital as an extension to traditional. So the things that worked on traditional, they tried to extrapolate it on digital, but then they realized it's a completely new medium, because without data and without the ability to measure it, it requires a lot. And the last thing I would say is, it is very tool centric, right? You need to be very strong with, especially with AI coming in. You need to have a grasp on some of these tools that work. So you need the right amount of skill, right? Whether it's marketing automation, CRM, ad technologies, whichever tool that you're using, right? And you need to, it requires skill to use those tools very well. So your marketing operations, right, at the back end, you need a very strong, robust marketing, operations framework to acquire data, segment data, test out data. So the technology aspect of it is very strong in digital. So you need people who can, and that's the other challenge, the talent gap of, identifying and having the right talent who can manage your marketing operations and data for you. So that's some of the shifts that are there, and the challenges that existing or new brands may face.
That was very innovative answer. Thank you, sir. Yes. So, Mr. GS Kumar. So, can you provide tips for optimizing LinkedIn profiles and content to enhance visibility, credibility, and engagement within the platform?
The first thing is it's a optimized profile. Okay, so when we are coming to LinkedIn, we have to check our social selling pattern. Like there is a link called Social Selling Index where you can check your score of your LinkedIn. That's the first step to do. Any entrepreneur who wishes to build his brand, you go to Google and search for Social Selling Index. You will get a link where you can check 4 pillars on how is your presence on online. That's the first thing to do. Second thing, how you are discoverable with your potential audience. When you have a targeted list of clients, and whether when they are searching for your product and services, whether you are discoverable in LinkedIn, that's the second thing which you have to identify. Otherwise, you are losing all the opportunities which is freely available, right? So marketing is all about one part of vertical of marketing is we are reaching out, to other people. The second part is the inbound leads where customers are already searching, but we are not visible. So that element has to be, the bridge has to be gapped in terms of visibility so that our target audience can search us and find and get a solution. Because when a target audience is searching and reaching out to us, 70% of sales is already done. Only thing is you have to produce your service deliverables and cost, then rest all been taken care. Third thing is consistency. Okay, any platform, any social media platform for that matter, consistency is the key, where you cannot say, okay, I've done a posting on Monday and sleep for next 2-3 months. That's not going to happen. So you have to be consistent on almost everyday basis so that you can you tell your audience that you have a passion towards the elements which you are delivering. Either it is a product or services. The consumers has to see you on a daily basis. Then only the familiarity and triggering factor comes when they say, okay, when you talk about a particular services, let's say you are into finance, okay, and you are having financial products. When you keep educating on your benefits of financial product, let's say you are selling an insurance or mutual funds and stuff like that, and you keep posting tips on it, okay. So the clients who are there in LinkedIn connected with you will see your tips on a daily basis. And once they have a problem on any financial aspect, the top of the mind recall will be you, because you are the one who are keep on reminding them that I'm great person in finance, subject matter expert in finance. Then that client will come to you and ask for a suggestion. That's where you have to convert. Okay. So the basic thing is optimization. You have to be all-star profile, which is which you have to fix all the sections of your profile, but when it should be in a very optimized way where any common man can understand what you're doing. Okay, but most of the business owners, they say like, I'm a founder XYZ company, that's it. Okay, and any guy who will not who is searching for services, they will not search founders in LinkedIn. They will search, okay, finance, finance executive or logistics services in Bangalore, something like that. But for that search, whether you are really visible, that's a question mark which you have to address. Okay, then LinkedIn has a major advantage of providing all sort of mode of content. If you see YouTube and Instagram, it is highly dependent on video-based content, which many entrepreneurs is highly dependent on video creators, which is not possible. And a lot of people are shy to create even videos. Correct? But here in LinkedIn, you have multiple channels of content where you can even post a poll of yes or no question. Okay. Or you can create a video also is one of the mode, or you can create a content for 1000 characters, 1500 characters. Okay. You can create a poster. You can create a carousel. You can create a newsletter. So all possible ways is available, which is very less cost, even no cost at all. Okay, of course, video, you have to create some costing for that. But other content using ChatGPT, you can create anything. Okay, you just have to trigger content question and then create tips for your services and products and keep scheduling. Okay, the best part of LinkedIn is you don't have to depend on external scheduling tool. The scheduler tool is already there. Okay, so you create a content schedule for a month and sit, safely. And only thing is you have to keep connecting with people, with the like-minded people, so that you create value, you educate them. That's how it happens. And the major advantage of LinkedIn is a global presence. Any platform you take, it's restricted to one particular location or one particular audience here. But here in LinkedIn, it is global business networking platform. The other misunderstanding I want to clear here is a lot of people use LinkedIn like Facebook and Instagram, where they think that, okay, have to create a lot of posters. I will post my ad content and all that, which will never work on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a business networking platform, just like any other physical networking platform. Okay, in a physical networking platform, what you do, you first thing you do is your own attire, choice of attire like blazer and other stuff. Second thing is you connect with the right-minded people when you go to a physical business networking platform. Okay. Third is you engage with a lot of people, like-minded people, and fourth is build a relationship. These four factors is online applicable for LinkedIn, where that is a platform where you have to work on building relationship. See, any high-ticket product or service cannot be sold in a day or two. It needs a lot of iteration, lot of conversations. Okay, so mostly my panel members will agree to the fact that any high-ticket product cannot be I can introduce today and they will buy tomorrow. That's not going to happen, right? So
Not happen.
over a period of time, at least 15 days, you have to keep iterating, keep following. All that has to happen. But LinkedIn, you have a space that you have to do a chat in email on a regular basis, connect with anybody in the world. Okay, even I have a client who's sitting in Bangalore, who's connecting in Singapore and Dubai and making sales just by building relationship online, which we have a framework to follow. That's the presence which we have to capitalize. See, I come from a background where I was nowhere related to business. Okay, first 3 years I never had a website. Okay, only through LinkedIn I made my business and I earned those kind of revenue which I can spend on website. Otherwise, I didn't have a website for 3 years. So that's how LinkedIn helped me. That is why I'm advocating a LinkedIn a lot, because a lot of people doesn't have an awareness on how to capitalize LinkedIn. Okay, so that's my choice. The final clue is consistency and optimization and regularity, building relationship. That's the crux of the matter, which is my perspective.
Thank you, sir, for helping us understand LinkedIn more better way. And we will definitely use those tips in the future too. So back to Mr. Vivek, sir.
Yeah.
So in your experience, what are the key differences between traditional and digital marketing approaches when it comes to building and nurturing relationships with your audience?
So the key difference is in terms of traditional and digital marketing. So traditional marketing is also helping to acquire the customers. I'm not saying it's not traditional. Only digital is performing well and all. Traditional is also helping out for the brands. So still, in terms of you can able to go for the retail stores, the traditional marketing helping out them. So you can talk to the traditional retailers. They say traditional marketing will helping for the business. So certain things digital also helping out. So traditional not support to the target audiences. So if I'm doing any ATL activities or a BTL activities, it's open minded. So it will be open to all. But in digital, right, I can able to put the cap on it only for the selected audiences or targeted audiences. So then what happened, right? That will be help us to increase your ROI, or it will be reducing your acquisition cost. If I'm spending a crore and above for a traditional marketing, like in any ATL or a BTL activities, I can spend 25% on that. Like a 25 lakh, I can spend it on digital, the same volume. I can whatever the reach they generated on traditional, I can able to reach it on here also.
Thank you, sir. So moving on, Mr. Ketan. So, how
Yes.
do Fielda leverage the digital marketing expertise to differentiate itself in the market and drive growth for the company?
Okay, so see, we are a niche B2B industry tech product, right? We are, some of the traditional tech playbooks, SaaS playbooks may not work all the time because the audience is very niche, right? We target these industries: manufacturing, electric utilities, government, utilities, people, and mostly in the US, right? So it's a market where, like, I always believe that you go where your audience are and most likelihood. And we also have a mobile app and a desktop app. So there are two playbooks there. Traditionally, mobile apps have their own playbooks. You have App Store and Play Store optimization and marketing, and their strategies are different. And the traditional SaaS plays a little different, right? Although somewhere it converges. So we have keeping all this in mind, the complexity is a little different. So firstly, we one of the channels that we have always leveraged is, and we have seen a lot of success where we want to invest more, is B2B influencers. So we have something called, as for a B2B enterprise company, you need to have something called a customer or expert advisory board, right? Where you have your existing or prospective customers or your network join you as advisors, join you as in testing the product, giving feedback. So with them, you build the product, right? So we have seen a lot of, so many people call it SMEs, subject matter experts, whatever you want to call it, subject matter experts, or advisors. So we have built that network. So using that network, so when an expert is saying that, and you can call them influencers also. Of course, the Instagram influencer model is very different. But here, when this for such sort of a niche product, you need to have a very strong customer advisory board, and that makes a difference. So we are investing a lot in advisors and partners. The partner ecosystem for us is very important because for a B2B product, traditionally, whether it is reseller partnerships, whether it is integrating your product within an application, for example, take Dropbox, or you are in a Salesforce ecosystem. So partners is a very strong channel, right, for a traditional B2B business or a SaaS business. So we have leveraged partnerships a lot, and we are leveraging all our partnerships. So a partner model is very something which we have put a lot of our effort and money on, right? So influencer plus the CAB, the expert advisory board, plus the uh, uh, partner system is where we have put. Apart from that, of course, we are leveraging digital. Of course, we are running ads a lot, but ads, the quality is a problem, right, for us, because who do we target? We target people who are on the field, people who are, miles across maybe in a wildlife area, or a national park in the US, inspecting a fiber optic cable or something like that. So we are targeting that niche. Some of them are not even on LinkedIn, right? I know we spoke a lot about LinkedIn, but there are a lot of businesses, right, who are, and LinkedIn, mind you, as doesn't have that scale like an Instagram or a Meta has, because it's still a smaller network. But yes, it's a very focused business network, and it has niche people for a job, looking for business opportunities to connect a network. So we found a lot of our audience is not on LinkedIn. It's that they had a presence on LinkedIn. It's not just having a profile, right? The key thing is not just having a profile. You need people to engage on LinkedIn. That's when your business can succeed, right? If they just have a profile, and there are a lot of people who just have a profile. So we realized that LinkedIn is important for us to put our message out, but it's not a lead generation mechanism for us, because a lot of our audience is not on LinkedIn. They are on the field. They have their own traditional networks or their own groups that they are on. So we used LinkedIn. So that's where we leveraged LinkedIn more for our own personal networks. We use like our own personal networks. The sales team uses their networks. So it's not just the LinkedIn official page. It's more the individual networks. The CEO and the people out who are responsible for growth and revenue. They are the ones going out there. And then that's where the EAB also helps. Our customers and partners percolate that message. That's where we have found a little more success. And of course, I think one of the other channels that has helped us a lot is building great content, right? Case studies are like the holy grail. Good user stories. We call it customer stories, right? Good customer stories for a B2B brand, SaaS brand, irrespective of low ticket, high ticket, right? If you can tell your customer stories well, that has helped us a lot. So we have taken every individual customer story that is there and used that percolate our messages in our emails. In our email messages, we have a very strong email network lifecycle management process where we nurture prospects through email a lot more, and that's where the content becomes very strong. So we have guides and ROI calculators that are coming in, And the last thing I'm saying is that we are moving to a PLG model, a product-led growth model, where the product itself is, so earlier you used to have, people used to download an asset and then you used to nurture them through emails, and that model still works. But of late, people have been inundated with these messages, and you've moved to more where the product talks itself, right? People can experience the product, users can experience the product and sign up for a free trial or a freemium, a free version of it, and then experiment. So the product is selling itself, right? We are reducing the boundaries for sales to come in, right? Sales is still there in B2B SaaS or enterprise. Sales will always have a key role to play, but the role becomes more of account management and facilitating the sale rather than doing cold outreach or bombarding people with messages. So PLG model, our new site will come very soon. We are going to a completely PLG model where the product is talking itself, and it's a self-serve model where you can actually view the product and sign up. So these are the few bets that we are, taking for with B2B. Like I said, partners, customer ads. So we are doing all sorts of things, experimenting with it, but some are getting as much more success than some of the other channels.
That's great. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. GS Kumar. So, in what ways do you see LinkedIn evolving as a marketing and networking tool? And how can individuals and business stay ahead of the curve to maximize their impact?
Okay, firstly, I want to give a right understanding towards LinkedIn, because a lot of business owners come with an experience of digital marketing. They've invested a lot in Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, and then they come to LinkedIn and then treat the same way, which drastically failed them in the entire model, because LinkedIn is not a lead generation tool, first of all. Okay, it's a business networking platform for people who want to scale up. When we say scale up, the people who have enterprise companies or people who have established business and they want to scale up in terms of geographical expansion or finding a franchisee, finding channel partners, that's the right place to expand their business rather than hunting for lead generation on a daily basis, which will drastically fail them. That's a misunderstanding about LinkedIn, where a lot of people have the usage point of view is completely different, where they see, okay, LinkedIn is not my cup of tea. Okay. But the point of view is what the platform, that's the right understanding has to happen so that we can use and capitalize it. Okay. The misunderstanding towards the usage of it, which many people may not understand. That's the first thing. When coming to your question of scaling up and utilizing, it's the way where the presence has to be made, first of all, because LinkedIn is a place where a lot of people don't create content, where they are scared of. Okay, either they are representing their own company where they are in a job, or they are in a company where they are representing their ownership. In both the ways, they don't know what content to post itself. Okay, so only 2%, 3% of people create content. Okay, where it's just a huge space, especially IT and related industries post a lot of content, all that, where other industries never even have that content space. Okay, now that is the biggest advantage for us, because every other media is cluttered with a lot of content, a lot of competitors and all that. But in LinkedIn, when you start creating somebody who's into manufacturer, somebody who's into logistics, there is no content at all. That's what our past experience says. Because most of these young entrepreneurs who started their business last 10 years, they are only posting a lot of content. And a lot of people who are into content space, especially content creators, writers, any form of industry which is belonging to writing industry, post a lot of content. Otherwise, in all 20, 25 industries, very, very minimal content. That's what I can say. So capitalize those area where you have less space of competition itself. Okay. And understand people connect. Okay. So we are all, end of the day, we have to work with the people, right? Where they carry a lot of emotions, connections, familiarity. Okay. You don't just buy a product just because of product. It's an emotion for yourself. Okay. Car is an emotion. House is an emotion. Right? Anything if you are purchasing, it's an emotion. So that's why even the traditional businesses like cool drinks, they don't associate with your thirst. They associate with your happiness, adventure. Okay, happiness. If you drink Coca-Cola, you will be very happy. That's the kind of advertising they are creating. Okay, but what we are doing as a budding entrepreneurs, we don't associate to any emotions. We create, we keep on chasing between the numbers crunch. Okay, how I can reach out to 10,000 people in a one single shot. Okay, which never work. Maybe conversion ratio can be 10%, 5%, but you will keep repeating the same thing. Okay, but if you build a brand with emotion and at least start educating, then you will have a long time game, which many people will fail because a lot of people have the mindset of easy business. Okay, I create a WhatsApp group, I will send a bulk WhatsApp marketing to 10,000 people or bulk emailing. And at the end of the day, whom are you meeting? Your customers, who's like you, correct? So try talking to them, try making an attempt for physical meeting. Only then you will get a lot of familiarity. At the end of the day, when you meet a people, you will get to know that he is from a same city or same school or a same college. That will make business even more closer to you rather than meeting a guy who's no way connected with you. Okay, you are sitting in Bangalore, some guy is sitting in Delhi. The business will not happen that faster. But if you are sitting in Bangalore, meeting another Bangalore guy, you will talk about traffic. You talk about a lot of thing plus and minus of Bangalore. Then you create a close association. Then the association happen. Building relationship will happen. Okay. So when you are serious about business, building relationship is a key, and building relationship cannot happen overnight through physical meeting and all that. There are a lot of business networking platforms like BNI, stuff like that, right? But it takes a very long time, I would say, because I've been part of a lot of networking groups, and a lot of one-to-one meetings has to happen, which consumes a lot of time, travel a lot of time. But in LinkedIn, you're sitting in your place and connecting 24/7 to anyone in the world. Okay. But of course, you have to invest time on building relationship, chatting all the time and appreciating people. All that has to happen. But at the end of the day, you will get lead. Okay, because you're creating a familiarity, your emotion, your education, and you will be the go-to person when they are thinking of something in your industry. Okay, then they immediately come back and say, okay, can you suggest me this? Okay, I'm gonna buy an insurance. I'm gonna buy a shoe. I'm gonna buy a T-shirt. Can you suggest me this? That's where your follower is becoming customer. Okay. But if you do traditional marketing all the time, like, showcasing, advertising, this, that, that you end of the day, you will keep on repeating and nothing will happen. Only percentage and numbers you will talk, but at the end of the day, you don't have a person who will start recommending you. Okay. So at the end of the day, what user experience you are giving, that will make word of mouth marketing, which has been there for long, long years. Once you make your customer happy, he will be your unpaid marketing professional for years together. That's how we have to spend more time on customer experience rather than channelizing this, that, reaching out, all that. End of the day. Okay. There is one more concept called OPA. OPA means other people audience. Okay, like this influencer marketing and all that. See how the producers become famous, film producers become famous is because they are hiring a superstar and then making use in their product and story, where along with them they are also getting popular. In earlier 50 years before, we never know a lot of producers name also. We know only Amitabh, Shah Rukh, all those things, but they will capitalize their own name and fame by using their other people audience. Now today you can name any director, you name any producer, everybody know, because it comes along with a superstar's name. Okay, so now that element has to be capitalized through LinkedIn so that we collaborate with the right set of influencer in our industry, collaborate with them and exchange audience, or at least use his name to bring your name into the place where your marketing efforts reduces drastically. Okay, for budding entrepreneurs, it's a definite place to work on OPA 711-4, all these concepts, so that their cost of marketing is reduces. Because any budding entrepreneur has he will cry when he is investing on money. on marketing because it's a whole lot of amount. Okay. But if you use this kind of concepts, it reduces drastically. At the same time, you can capitalize other people, content, audience, and collaboration. All this will make you faster in the run. Rather, if you are keep on investing marketing, then one point in time you will be frustrated and you will be out in the market. That okay, this is not my game. I'll go back to my job. Okay, just because you got frustrated with marketing spends and other things, and you are not even getting your break-even point. Okay, so but invest wisely on certain things where your level of investment, level of cost is very less in marketing, and do understanding of your buyer persona. When for me, marketing is understanding buyer persona, then consumer research, buying pattern, and then marketing. If you don't do these three elements, then your marketing will be bound to a drastic failure. Okay, buyer persona means you create who's your ideal client, what is your buying behavior, gender behavior, when are they purchasing, all this data you should have. Okay, only then the proper channel you can choose. Otherwise, you will be random, and at the end of the day, you will start criticizing your clients itself. Okay, then I say I have a great product, but these people are not buying. Okay, that's your false understanding towards the market. But once you have this framework, then it is easy growth. And there are a lot of people who are innovative in India. Okay, but they never know this kind of efforts and framework and stuff like that, where they again start a business and go back to job just because they don't know this. Okay, so that element has to be rightly understood, so that they capitalize and grow in the market.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for your insightful answer, sir. So a lot of interesting conversations today, but I'm afraid time is up. So I'd like to thank all our speakers, Mr. G.S. Kumar, Mr. Ketan, and Mr. Vivek. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your experienced thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure.